What's up, y'all? We are back with another episode of Spill It With Meesh. I am your cousin, Meesh West Coast, and season 3, we back and we hot, y'all. Tonight's episode, y'all read the title, The Art of Moving On, Healing Health Phases, and Not Looking Back. Cousins, let's be real. Moving on is an art, and some of y'all get stuck in just reminiscing, or some of y'all move on too fast that you don't even process what happened, and some of y'all be toxic, cousin, and let's just say like that whole phase will kick in real quick, and that's okay, cousin. No judgment. This is a judgment-free zone, okay? We are talking about the art of moving on, healing that whole phase, and not looking back, because once you've walked away, cousin, what's next? Growth, learning, understanding what you like and do not like anymore, and we're about to unpack it tonight, okay? And since we're stepping into a new season, tonight's sips are bold, refreshing, and honestly a whole vibe. So whether you're celebrating a fresh start or just healing your heart or being outside with the girlies, yeah, I got something for you. So if you're feeling bold, a little reckless, we got good sex with a blue condom. This drink is as wild as the name. But if you're on a detox, taking a break, or just want something fresh with a little buzz, you'll love it. So the good sex with a blue condom is a bold, sweet, and tropical cocktail that looks innocent, but it hits just right. So we are going to craft her right now. So we have our shaker. I know we love our shaker. So we have our blue, I think I'll be saying it wrong. I think it's Curacao, because that's how you say the island's name. So I'm going to say blue Curacao. And this is about an ounce, a little over an ounce. I'm going to put that all in there, y'all. You know I like my drinky drink to be colored. We've got our rum. This is about 2 ounces of rum. We have our peach schnapps. Okay, we're not gonna go crazy with her, but we are gonna, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna drizzle in our peach schnapps. I went crazy, fuck it. And we have our, you can do pineapple juice. I did mango juice, like mango nectar. You can do pineapple juice, but I've been doing a lot of pineapple juice lately, so it's been kind of irritating my tongue. I'm not allergic to it, cousin. It's just a reaction it has. Don't come for me. So I did a little mango nectar. So I'm just going to do like a splash of her. And then I am going to save, the recipe calls for club soda or Sprite. I'm going to save that for the end, because for me, I just don't like flat soda. So I'm going to add that in at the end. So just make sure your shaker is on correctly. This one keeps popping off. So we're just going to make sure we have her on straight so we're not actually spilling. So y'all know the vibes. Shake what you got in them jeans. Then grab the wall and shake it like a dog. Shake what you got in them jeans, then grab the wall and shake it like a dog. So my ancestors told me to stop. She's good and cold. Honestly, too cold for me to hold. Y'all know I got lupus, so can't be touching all that. So here we are going to pour her in over our eyes. Nothing special today. We'll garnish her at the end. Okay. And she's pretty. And so I'm gonna garnish her with a little lemon wedge. See how we're seated? Don't play around. So we'll do 2 on both sides just for aesthetics. And then I'm going to top her off with a little bit of clear soda. You can do sparkling. You can do sparkling club soda, or you can do Sprite. I have Sprite. And we are going to give her a twirl and a taste, okay? Isn't she cute? Ooh. Cousin, she's strong too. So this is the good sex with a blue condom. She's good. Okay. So we are going to just kind of get into the episode and we're just going to vibe out. So let me know in the comments how you guys like the good sex with a blue condom. All right. So let's talk about when I used to be a double backer. Yep. I would be the one walking away from a situation only to spin the block when I got lonely, bored, or if I had a little fond memory. And every time I told myself maybe they changed or maybe I was overreacting, and every single time I got reminded why I left in the first place. So I had to learn that moving on is not just about cutting ties, it's about breaking that mental and emotional attachment too. So ask yourself, cousin, have you really moved on from that last little situation? Have you ever moved on from that last, you know what I'm saying, that last little vibe that had you vibing, okay? Or are you still waiting on a text that will never come? Sit with that for a while and kind of like break that all the way down. Like, what are you truly doing there? That's like the last episode, that trauma bond. Are we still connecting over trauma? Sometimes that's where the level up needs to come from, cousin. Like, we cannot be holding on to stuff based off trauma. Don't forget that, okay? So moving on comes in about 3 stages. I feel like these 3 stages were very apparent to me in moving on. So the emotional detox. You got to sit with those feelings, no running, no numbness, just feeling. And if you don't, you're really just dragging that baggage from situation to situation and honestly becoming the toxic one there. And then you've got the reinvention era. This is where you rediscover who you truly are without that person, that job or the situation that attached to your identity. This is truly you stepping into you and understanding what you love, what you like, who the person you really are going to be in these next few phases of your life. Like, this is your reinvention era. And I think this is something that we honestly don't kind of adhere to as much as we probably should, and we don't thrive in this era as much as we should. At least people around me that I know, we haven't really thrived in that reinvention era. I think we just kind of progress from situation to situation with this in mind. Like, yes, we're healing, but are we necessarily living in that reinvention era as well, as best as we should be? So the I'm outside energy, you know what I'm saying? Bitch, we outside. We outside. Okay, so yeah. Whether it's healing, the healed glow up, or the whole phase, or a fresh start, this is when you step into your new season fully, right? So past the reinvention era, right? You know who you are. You know what you like now. Now you're really stepping in this and you're really living this. This is that outside era. Outside don't mean I'm outside. Outside means I'm living in this new person. Like, that's what outside means. Like, so if people have, you know what I'm saying, like gotten that line or that era of, you know what I'm saying, like being done with the previous situation or growth, that's not what outside means. I hope y'all know that. And if y'all didn't, I just taught y'all something. Outside don't mean I'm literally outside my house. It means I'm stepping in the phase that I'm in right now. That's what that means. So let's talk about hoe phases, because I know a lot of y'all are here for that. Like, y'all read that and that's all y'all read. So here we are. Let's unpack that. So I'm going to give you some scenarios and you tell me, is this healing or are you in your hoe phase? So scenario 1, you book a solo trip, you get cute, and you spend time rediscovering yourself. Is that healing or the hoe phase? That's healing. If you are capable enough to take your own trip and really decide you want to spend time with yourself, that's a healing era. That's not a hoe phase era. So don't ever let that confuse you. Now, if you meet somebody while you out, that's just what you do, okay? Doesn't make it a hoe phase either. Scenario 2, you immediately download a dating app and go on 3 dates in 1 week and keep it casual. Is that healing or is that a hoe phase? Cousin, Cousin, do I even really need to answer that? Cousin, I'm going to answer it for the sake of answering it. But you know that's a whole phase. Like, what are we talking about? Scenario 3. You start hitting the gym, you start changing your wardrobe, and you step into your baddie or your boss up era. Is that healing or is that a whole phase? Obviously, that's healing. Now, if it bring on your whole phase, eat it up. Okay? Cousin said eat it up. Okay? If that brings on a whole phase, eat it up, but obviously heal at the end of all of that. Scenario 4. You post a thirst trap and you know exactly who you want to see it. Is that healing or a whole phase? I feel like, honestly, that question probably shouldn't have been there because I don't feel like that's healing or a whole phase. If I post a picture, it just depends on what I do after the picture, right? I don't think just the picture makes it a healing or a whole phase. Like, if I look good, I look good, right? Like scenario 3 said, like, if I've been in the gym and I post a picture of the assing, listen, it could be both. Listen, it could be both. Now, like I said, what I do with that information afterwards is completely dependent on whether that's healing or a whole phase. Okay. So here we are with our next section. So this is going to be ghost or roast, right? So this situation is going to be a little outside the box. This is going to be a little bit of a, this might be our toxic little era. Okay. So a lot of y'all sent me some little wild stories, and I'm not going to, y'all stories are a little too wild for me to talk about on this pod. Okay. Stay tuned, cousins. Stay tuned. But on this one. So here is the situation, and I'll tell you guys basically if you've handled it right or not. So this is, you have your situationship. You guys are in your new dating era, and this situationship wants to take you out on a coffee date, right? This situation wants to take you out on a coffee date, but knows that coffee's not your thing, wants to kind of take you outside of your era, right? 1, you want to say no to the date. 2, you want to feel like you're healing. 3, you want to tell him he's out his rabbit ass mind. If he really knew you, he would have never even approached you with a coffee date. But this is rather we're healing or we're just adhering to whole phase. And let me tell you the difference. So in this situation, if you are more passive, does that necessarily mean you're in your whole phase? Or are you really still trying to figure this out? You still could be in your healing era, so don't confuse the two. So confusing the two in this situation, for me, if I don't like coffee and you've taken any amount of time to get to know me and you want to take me on a coffee date, I'm going to feel like you blatantly don't even understand me. So for me, I'm going to feel like that's my whole phase for me to go on the coffee date. I'm going to feel like I'm being a little bit more passive and a little bit more submissive than I normally would, which would be my whole phase, because my logic phase would be my healing phase. And that would let me know that you're not listening to me. So where are we going with this, cousins? Another one. So petty, right? We could be petty about persistently this situation, right? We can tell him, I'm going to go on the date, but fully don't engage in anything that you want going on with him, right? So this is, you don't plan to give him no booty. You don't plan to give him no nothing. Now you're just being petty, cousins. Is that healed or toxic? I feel like that's still adhering to hoe phase. If we're still in toxicity, if we're still communicating in toxicity, that's a hoe phase. Like, I feel like hoe phase, people mistake that as like your promiscuous era, but no, hoe phase means at this point, I'm just being toxic. I'm here for shits and giggles. No, cousin, we're healing. We are going to go into healing. We want to adhere to healing. Don't forget that. We don't want to stray from the fact that we are healing. So I'm welcoming. If you guys argue any of these cases, please get in the comments and argue them. At this point, I'm willing to heal. I'm willing to learn more. Like, there is nothing wrong with continued education. So if you are educating me on this matter, if you have a different opinion of this matter, I'd like to hear it. So drop it in the comments, cousins. So I hope that understanding like what the hoe phase is and what the healing era is doesn't get confused. And I feel like a lot of people like to kind of tie having a hoe phase to a woman, but men go through it as well. Men kind of carry their hoe phase a little bit longer than women. Men or people will find that women go into their hoe era when like either they've just branched out or they've left a relationship, but men are allowed to go through it for X amount of time. And men are allowed to go through it with the justification of guys will be guys or boys will be boys or however you guys want to look at it. But women, we really have to have justifications for these things. I feel like at the end of the day, cousin, if you're going to go through a toxic era, eat it up. Eat your toxic era up, and that might be toxic, but it also leads to healing. And I'm only telling you guys what I've actually been through. You guys know I'm very transparent here. I'm only telling you what I've been through. A hoe phase does not mean you are just promiscuous. It does not mean you are sleeping from here to here to here to here to here. A hoe phase can do with toxicity. A hoe phase can do with unhealed trauma. A hoe phase could do with literally just behaviors. A hoe phase is not just promiscuous, and I want you guys to understand that. I'm here right now telling you guys a hoe phase does not mean promiscuous. Men, women, it does not mean that. It means you are in a phase of life where maybe you've branched out. It means that might be this reinvention era. This is ultimately where you're supposed to find out what you like, what you don't like. Go on those dates. If you are dating one person and you are dating multiple people, like go on those dates. Don't let nobody make you feel like you're a hoe because you are trying to figure out what you like. You will never understand what you like if you don't go through this era, and this era is important. But also understanding that you have to heal at the back end of that is also the most important factor in this. So I hope that this episode really just kind of starts to spark where you guys want to be with healing. If you haven't been through these eras, and not necessarily a hoe phase, but like I said, just understanding what you like and you do not like, understanding what you as yourself, your own self. Do you like going on dates by yourself? Is this something you would tolerate from the next person? Like, these are questions you need to be asking yourself in this phase of growth. And just because one person around you is not going through it, cousin, I've been through it and I'm still going through it. So don't feel like you're alone. Get in these comments, get in these DMs, like, talk to me. You are not alone. I'm not alone. I know I'm not alone. I know I'm not the only one going through stuff like this. So I asked a few of you guys what's been the hardest part of this whole phase or healing journey. And a lot of your guys' responses kind of hit home for me. So I asked one person and they said, realizing that I was toxic or realizing that I was in a hoe phase really struck for me. And they really kind of emphasized the fact that it was called a hoe phase. If having a hoe phase or that term is derogatory to you, remove it, change it into something else, or don't put people in your business. You could go through your hoe phase on your own and nobody has to know your business. Because then you don't have to tell nobody. You're not obligated to tell nobody nothing. Obviously, if you're being promiscuous, then you want to be honest with your partners. Don't be around here thinking you player and you really the other word for not player. Yeah. But you want to actually stand in the era you're in. And that's ultimately going to help you realize the sense in growth. If you're not standing in, or if you can't own up to the fact that this is a hoe phase, or even that you're promiscuous, even if you're promiscuous, cousin, ain't no judgment for me. Cousin, I can't knock a situation I ain't been in, okay? I don't know your life. I don't know your struggles, but this is a safe place. So I just want you guys to keep stuff like that in mind. Somebody else had to say, I had to admit that I was using chaos because peace was starting to feel boring. Cousin, that might be a portion of your whole phase. Like if you're now craving drama, that might be an era of your whole phase, because ultimately peace don't equal drama. So if you're at the end of your whole phase and you're going into drama, you might not be healed yet. Healing equals peace. Does that make sense? Healing equals peace. Healed. Scratch that. Not healing. Healed. Healed equals peace. You got me? We're there, cousin. Someone else said, I thought healing would be fun. Turns out it's not that fun. Like, I crave the attention of somebody. Like, I want to be under somebody. Cousin, that also might be your whole phase. Okay? It's not just healing. It's the fact that you're still not okay with your own solidarity. That's not healed, baby. That's a whole phase. And that's okay. So this is why we got to keep talking like this, cousins. We have to keep having these conversations. They're very much necessary. And I don't think if there is, tag them. I don't think there's people putting it into these perspectives, okay? One, I told you whole phase don't mean promiscuous. And then I also told you that healed means peace. So if you're not going through these eras of really redefining or really relearning who you are and what these traumas bring out, how are you actually healing? How are you actually even working on what's peace to you? Cousin, stay with me. Don't stray. Okay? Don't stray at all. So again, I hope this episode really just kind of woke up for you who you actually want to be and who you want to actually grow into. Rather you haven't been through this era or you need to go through this era, you haven't fully fulfilled this era. You know what I'm saying? Like, take your time, cousin. Everybody's timing is not going to be equivalent to the next person's. So just remember, when you are going through these, or you find yourself in lieu of this aspect of your life, that it's okay. Go through this, but ultimately understand that at the end of it all, you have to heal from it. There's nothing wrong with learning your lesson. There's nothing wrong with going through the lessons that come from you actually having to build from this era into the successful human you are supposed to be. Okay? So until next week, you guys, I love you so much. Let me know if you try our Good Sex with a Blue Condom. Please drop your comments, share on Instagram, tag me. But this has been another episode of Spill It with Meesh, and I love you, cousins. Until next week.